Well, what do you know? We have House of the Dragon news today. We have actual news concerning House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel, of course, that's coming out in probably 2022. Apparently some casting news, and actually major casting news. Now, nothing is yet official, but it looks like they're going to be doing the Dance of the Dragons era, so this will start with Viserys I, the young king's reign, right after Jaehaerys I, his father, the old king, the good king. A lot of people thought that Jon was going to be named after Jaehaerys I. So this is going to be the reign. This kind of, in and of itself, very quiet as far as, Westeros was prosperous and all that good stuff, but it sets the seeds for the Dance of the Dragons. But I thought it was at least exciting that they are moving forward. So let's jump over here to the computer. What we have here on entertainment.com, and again, these are basically all the same. Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, begins casting. And then we move on down to HBO has started to move forward on its Game of Thrones prequel. The network has begun casting for its eagerly anticipated House of the Dragon, sources confirmed to EW. Of course, it goes on to the stuff we've already talked about the project being based off George R. R. Martin's Fire and Blood. It's being ran by Ryan Condal and Miguel Sapochnik and George R. R. Martin himself, all that good stuff. But what's cool today is we actually have some casting rumors, and apparently the sources are credible for all these various websites. There are no official casting breakdowns yet available, but many are speculating about the potential lead characters based on Martin's book. Fire and Blood covers 150 years and includes the rise and fall. What? It's storming. Bad. Fire and Blood covers 150 years and includes the rise and fall of many leaders in Westeros, so it's not clear which characters and which time period will be focus of the series, but sources tell EW that the famed Dance of the Dragons, the Targaryen Civil War that occasionally referenced in GOT that ripped apart Westeros, will be tackled. What would make sense is as the first season or two led up to those events, some fans have suggested the show would also be an American Horror Story style anthology series covering a vastly different time period in each season. And that's the kind of thing I was kind of hoping for, so we can see Aegon the Conqueror come in and take over Westeros with 3 dragons and his sister Rhaenys and Visenya. I wanted to see all that, so that's still certainly a possibility. But what we may get is a type thing where we're in kind of the Dance of the Dragons era and we do flashbacks or all that, because otherwise you have to recast everybody every single season for the different Targaryen kings and queens, all that good stuff, etc. So I'm hoping we see some of that, but it looks like, at least for now, based off this, that we're going to see Viserys I down to Aegon II, all that good stuff through the Dance of the Dragons. Anyway, as we continue, some key figures in the Targaryen Civil War, but not necessarily being cast in the series, include King Viserys I, who I just mentioned, the beloved 5th Targaryen king, whose reign was peaceful and prosperous until his death. Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, King Viserys' chosen heir, a dragon rider who grew up expecting to become the first ruling queen of Westeros. Queen Alicent Hightower, Viserys' ambitious second wife and Rhaenyra's stepmother, who had 3 children of her own with the king. And then Aegon II Targaryen, Princess Rhaenyra's younger half-brother, who challenges Rhaenyra's claim to the throne, igniting a civil war. So there you go. There's some of the main players in the Dance of the Dragons. And really quickly, just to give you a little backstory, just in case you're not familiar with this, I mentioned this quite a few times in many, many older videos and live streams, etc. But again, King Viserys I, his reign was really kind of uneventful. He continued the peace and prosperity of his father, Jaehaerys I, after he died. So he is the 5th Targaryen king, known as the Young King. Again, Jaehaerys I, being his father, was known as the Old King. He was, of course, the king that... Why does it have to storm every time I film a video? Anyway, he was the king that a lot of people thought that Jon Snow would be named after, but of course he ended up being Aegon anyway. And that's a whole separate video I've talked about before, but I think he will be named Aegon in the books as well. Anyway, Viserys continued the peace and prosperity in Westeros, but inadvertently during his reign, the beginnings of the seeds of the Dance of the Dragons were inadvertently sown during his reign, and after he died, basically all hell broke loose. And then, of course, as they mentioned, Rhaenyra Targaryen, this is King Viserys' chosen heir, the dragon rider who grew up expecting to become the first ruling queen of Westeros. So this is what kind of caused, of course, the Dance of the Dragons, is King Viserys chose Rhaenyra as his ruling heir when he died to become queen. And, of course, people who are in positions of power don't necessarily want to give those up. So Queen Alicent Hightower, his second wife, had a problem with that and wanted her son, Aegon, to become king instead. So that's what essentially started the Dance of the Dragons, the war between the blacks and the greens. So that's essentially what we have as far as the news today about casting. So apparently they're going straight to that error, if this is true, and it looks like it's going to be true. So at least I hope that in some way we kind of see Aegon the Conqueror come in, because I really, really wanted to see him. But more than Aegon the Conqueror, I personally want to see Rhaenys and Visenya. I love their history. I think they're badass, and I want to see them in action on screen. So maybe we will still see that. We could at least get some flashbacks, or maybe they will do a couple seasons and kind of advance through and just continue casting new people or whatever. I'm not really sure how they're going to do it, but it is good news that everything is now moving forward, and they do expect this to release in 2022. And really quickly, to kind of confirm this, I went over and found another site called Recapped, and it says, House of the Dragon rumors. They are currently casting leads for the Game of Thrones prequel series. There are 2 female roles, Rhaenyra Targaryen, who they're looking for someone in their late 20s, and Alicent Hightower, who should be slightly older. Filming is currently scheduled to take place next year in the UK and Spain. So there you have it, kind of a separate source there, kind of confirming that they do have casting calls for Rhaenyra at least and Queen Alicent Hightower. So that kind of confirms that if we're already casting for that at least we're going to start there in season 1. And again, hopefully we'll see flashbacks to Aegon the Conqueror or whatever as far as how they took over Westeros in the first place, because this was the time of dragons, so either way we're going to see some dragons. Now, during the Dance of the Dragons, they lost most of them, so hopefully that'll take a few seasons to get there to that point, but this is when dragons ruled the skies and Targaryens sat on the Iron Throne. And if you did what I do here, please give this video a like, comment, share, and please hit that subscribe button. Everything is dying on YouTube, and what it takes to support your favorite creator is clicking on the video when you see it and watching the whole thing, subscribing, commenting, liking, all that good stuff. All that signals the YouTube algorithm to get you kind of back in the game, so to speak. And by the way, before you get out of here, please click another video. You can click right over here to check out my latest video on the book I just recently wrote. I released a prologue here on YouTube. It is the first version of the prologue, and I'm working on the second manuscript now. And you can click right over here for the latest podcast, where James and I have a little fun talking about how we speak Southern. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.